Hola clase, buenos días. Today we're going to talk about mandatos informales, or informal commands, also known as to commands. Okay, and these are the commands that we use when we're talking to our friends, when we're talking to our classmates, when we're talking to people our age or younger. They're also commands that you use with like your brother or sister, or people that you know really, really well. So let's start off with affirmative commands, or do it commands. When we want somebody to do something, we give them an affirmative command. Affirmative commands are actually affirmative to commands specifically are actually different than other commands that we're going to learn. And they're different in the best way possible. They're different in the easy way. Okay, so if you want to tell somebody to talk, you tell them, habla. Okay? Remember, a normal to verb would end in, I'm going to write the normal one in black, hablas. Okay? But hablas is an observation. You talk, hablas. Versus habla, which is a command. Okay? See the difference? So if I'm telling somebody, if I'm commanding somebody to talk, I say habla. Okay, so that's for AR verbs. They go to A. Okay? Escribir. Write, right? Okay. So if I want to tell somebody to write something, I would say escribe. And again, this is the command form. IR goes to E, which is just a normal ella form. Okay, but if you say ella escribe, you're observing. If you say tú escribes, you're observing. You are writing. She is writing. But if you say escribe to your friend, you are commanding him or her to write. Okay? And then ER verbs, for example, comer, are the same. Come. Eat. Okay, so again, AR verbs in commands go to A, IR and ER verbs go to E when you are commanding somebody to do something. A simpler way of saying it is affirmative to commands we put it in the LA form. Of the verb. But when we say, again, when we say ella habla, we're saying she talks, and it's an observation. But if we say to our friend, habla, it is suddenly a command. If we say to our friend, come, we are not saying he or she eats, we're saying eat. Okay? And lastly, if we say to our friend, escribe, we're not saying he or she writes, we're saying write. And it is a command. Command, command, command. Okay, so remember we have certain verbs that are reflexive, such as bañarse, to take a bath, or afeitarse. Oops, I spelled that wrong. Hold on. Afeitarse. Give me a second, I'm going to add some more. Okay, so here are some other ones. Bañarse, take a bath. Afeitarse, shave yourself. Despertarse, get yourself up. Actually, wake yourself up. Levantarse is get yourself up. Sentarse, sit down. Acostarse, go to bed. Levantarse, lavarse, which is to wash yourself. So lavarse las manos, to wash your hands. Lavarse la cara, to wash your face. Cuidarse, to take care of yourself. Ponerse, to put on yourself, such as clothes or shoes. Vestirse, to get dressed. And there's lots of other ones. All of our words that end in se in the dictionary are things that we are doing to ourselves, and they are therefore reflexive verbs. Okay? And we have to change the commands a little bit with these reflexive verbs, which I'll talk about on the next page. So with reflexive verbs, In addition to putting the word in ella form, we also have to put a pronoun at the end, okay? Because we have to say that you need to do it to yourself. So, for example, levantarse would be levanta, ella form of an AR verb, and then we put te on the end because it is reflexive. Levántate. Now we also, when we add the te, the pronoun, we also have to add a tilde. So here's our original verb ending. Here's where we put our tilde on the syllable before the original verb ending. Okay? So sentarse, for example, the ella form is sienta. Okay? And then we have to put our pronoun on the end, which would be te. Sit down, siéntate. Okay, here's our original verb ending. Because we added the pronoun, we also have to add the tilde on the vowel before the original verb ending. Okay, let's do a couple more, such as wake up. Okay, despertarse. Despierta, it's a stem changer. The E goes to IE, but we have a regular A ending because it's an AR verb. And then we put te on the end because it is reflexive. And then, of course, since we added the te, we also add the tilde. Despiértate. Okay? Let's do an ER or an IR just to remember those. So, for example, vestir would be, careful, that one's also a stem changer. Viste. IR verb, so it goes to E, viste, and it's reflexive, so we have to put te. Pay attention to the te. Here's our original verb ending, so we have to add the tilde. Vistete. Okay? So that is how we form reflexive verbs in the affirmative to form. That's when we're giving commands. So affirmative to commands is the formal name for it, or affirmative informal commands, also known as to commands. Okay, so let's talk direct objects. A direct object is the thing that the verb acts upon. So, for example, bake a cake. Cake is the direct object, right? Okay, let's use the word prepare. Preparar. Okay, un pastel. Cake. Preparar un pastel. Prepare a cake or make a cake. Okay, when we do the command form of this, preparar goes to prepara. Okay. And un pastel. Prepara un pastel. Prepare a cake. Okay, but let's say the person wasn't listening to you, or the person didn't respond right away, and you want to repeat yourself. So you wouldn't necessarily say prepare a cake every time. You might say prepare it. And in that case, we use the direct object. And the direct object for un pastel, because un pastel is masculine, would be lo. Prepáralo, which is prepare it. Okay? So let's talk direct objects a little bit more. For example, me is me. If for example, you want to say hit me. Okay? I am the thing that is hit. Right? So you would put me at the end of the command. Te would be you. Oops. Don't write that. Let me erase. Okay. So if you want to say you, which we kind of already have done because that's what reflexive would be, right? If it's a masculine thing that is the direct object, we use lo to say it. If it's a feminine thing that is the direct object, we use la to say it. If you want to say hit us, for example, I know hit is a bad example, but it's the one that I'm thinking of right now. Nos would be what you'd use. If it's a masculine thing, and it's plural, so for example, bake them, talking about cookies, for example, you would use either los or las, depending on whether the thing is feminine and plural, so las, or masculine and plural, so los. Okay, so these are the direct objects that we can use with our commands. For example, háblame. Talk to me. Okay. Prepárate. Prepare yourself. Don't forget, anytime we have a pronoun at the end, we also have to add a tilde, and we put it on the vowel before the original verb ending, before the pronoun. Okay? Come lo. Eat it. And in this case, we're talking about something masculine. So, for example, when we say it here, we're probably referring to el pastel, or something else that is masculine and feminine and singular. Okay? Háblanos, talk to us. And remember, who are we commanding? We're commanding one person that we know well to do this. Háblanos, talk to us. Okay? And then lastly, come las. Las being las galletas, the cookies. So it's plural and it's feminine. Cómelas. Remember, we only use this if we've already established in conversation what the thing we're talking about is. So if I say, ¿tienes la pizza? Do you have the pizza? You'd say, sí, cómela. Yeah, eat it. Okay? Because we've already mentioned the pizza in our conversation, so it's okay to then say the it form. Okay, indirect objects are very similar to direct objects, but when you use an indirect object, you are saying to whoever or for whoever. So, for example, me would be to me or for me. Te would be to you or for you. Le would be to him or for him. Nos would be to us or for us, and les would be to them or for them. Okay? So, for example, da, which is give, da me, give it to me. So you might say dame if you're fighting over something and you want them to give you the thing that you're fighting over. Okay, te doesn't really make sense here because we are doing two commands. So you wouldn't say give it to you because, well, you're the one I'm commanding right now. Okay, well, you might say date prisa, for example, which means hurry up. Okay, le would be, for example, habla le, talk to him, or talk to her. Okay, nosotros form would be danos, give us, like danos hoy nuestro pan de cada día from the Our Father, give us today our daily bread. Okay, or dales, give it to them. Now you'll notice that I'm not putting accents on the ones that have da, and it's because da is the verb ending, so there is no vowel before the verb ending. Okay, so that's just the exception. Okay, congratulations. You now know how to form all of the regular affirmative 2 commands. Affirmative 2. Okay, however, of course, there are some irregulars. But it's easy to remember what the irregulars are because they're words that in present tense are also irregular. And in fact, all of them in present tense end in go. Not all of them, most of them. Okay, for example, poner in yo form is pongo, right? Well, the command form, we just leave off the go. Pon, put, okay? Tener in yo form is tengo. Well, for the command, we just leave ten, take. Okay. Salir in yo form is salgo. For the command, we say sal, like leave, sal. And venir in yo form is vengo, I come. And as a command, when you want to say come here, you say ven. Okay. Pon, ten, sal, ven. Decir in yo form is digo. Okay, and that means I say. As a command, we say di. Okay. Ser in yo form is soy. So this is one that doesn't quite follow the rules. Okay, but it is irregular, and it becomes se, which means be. Like sé bueno, be good. Okay. Ver becomes ve. Oh no, I'm sorry, that's not ver. Ver is also ve, but in this case it's irregular because it is ear. So if you're trying to say go, you'd say ve. If you're trying to say leave, you say vete because it's reflexive. And then hacer, which in yo form is hago. And as a command, we have to add an extra letter. It's not just a, it's as. Okay, so pon, ten, sal, ven, di, se, ve, as. If you memorize them all together, it makes it easy. Pon, ten, sal, ven, di, se, ve, as. Pon, ten, sal, ven, di, se, ve, as. Okay, and they are the only 8 irregular affirmative 2 commands. All right, negative commands are different. So of course, you will have to say no with negative commands, but the way that we form the verb is kind of weird. And it is a 3-step process. So what do? We go to the yo form in present tense. Second, we drop the O. And third, if it is an AR verb, we put ES as our ending. If it is an ER or IR verb, we put AS. So we're flip-flopping it. ARs normally take AS, and ERs normally take ES. But as commands, it is backwards. So if we want to say, for example, don't speak, we would say hablo. We drop the O, so it ab, and then we're going to add es. No hables. And then if you want to add a pronoun in there, a direct object or an indirect object or a reflexive pronoun, it goes in front instead of at the end. So to say don't talk to me, you would say no me hables. Okay? Let's do another example. Poner. So yo form is pongo, right? We drop the O, so we've got pong. And since the original verb was poner, ER, we're going to put AS. No pongas. And I'm going to put ahí because I'm going to say there, okay? Don't put it there. So let's say we're talking about the plate, el plato. So it's something that is put. It is a direct object, and it's masculine and it's singular. So it would be no lo pongas ahí. Don't put it there. Okay? Okay, in the negative 2 commands, we have 6 irregulars. Okay, ear becomes vayas. No vayas, don't go, okay? Vayas. Aber, which is a word that we're not very familiar with, I know. We hear it from time to time. It means there is, there are. Okay? And it becomes ayas. Ser becomes seas. Not seas, seas. Saber becomes sepas. Dar, which means to give, becomes des. And estar, to be, becomes estés. No estés triste, don't be sad. And don't forget that accent mark. Okay, so again, your irregulars are vayas, ayas, seas, sepas, des, estés. Okay, so just a quick rundown. With affirmative, two commands, you put, you go to the ella form of the verb. So AR is going to end in A, ER is going to end in E, so is IR. Okay? If there's a pronoun, we put it at the end and we add a tilde. And again, we have pronouns for reflexive, direct, and indirect objects. Okay? We don't have to have a pronoun. Keep that in mind. But if there's a pronoun, if the situation calls for a pronoun, you put it at the end and you add a tilde. Okay. Negative commands have the three-step process. Yo, no-o, opposite ending. So ARs go to ES, ER and IR go to AS. Okay? And if there's a pronoun, it goes between no and verb. Okay? Also, this one had 8 irregulars, and this one only has 6 irregulars, and they are different. Okay, so there's your side-by-side comparison of affirmative and negative two commands. So do something, don't do something. Affirmative is do it, negative is don't do it.